Hello friends, my name is Jitendra Bhafna. I am a senior MuleSoft architect. In this video, we are going to see how to handle a persistent or the guaranteed delivery in JMS with MuleSoft. So basically, we will see some demonstration how we can make sure like there is a zero message is lost, and in case of any failure, so how we can retrieve the message which has been failed. So there are various ways. So one you can make use of object store, or one you can make use of like a persistent delivery. That is the option provided by a JMS connector. In this video, we will going to see how we can make use of persistent delivery or guaranteed delivery in JMS with MuleSoft. I will publish one more video where we will see like how we can make use of object store to make sure like there is a no message loss, like to achieve the reliability basically. Okay, so let me go to queue. I will go to my ActiveMQ. For this demo, we will going to use Apache ActiveMQ. I will create one queue, test queue. Okay, create. Basically, I'll go to message flow. I will not create any new application. I will remove whatever I have it. Just let me remove. I will keep the HTTP configuration in my global element, or I can remove this also. So we will start from the first step. So basically what we are trying to do, see, I want to make sure like I don't lose a single message. Like once whatever message failed, there should be the way I can reprocess those messages. Okay, so let me drag and drop HTTP listener. Okay, I can do the connector configuration. I will keep all setting as a default. I can say GMS. I can go to advanced. I can say post. And now I want to publish a message to queue. So I can use the publish one. In this publish, I will do the connector configuration. So this is already I have configured. You can do it. Username admin, password admin. Then I can do go to connection factory. I do the configuration, factory configuration. I have to provide a broker URL, which is TCP localhost 61616. Okay, that's the settings you need to do. On destination, it's my test queue. Type is queue only. Okay, you can define a content type, application / JSON. Give me a second. So I have defined a content type, application / JSON. That's it. Let me save the application. Once I publish the message, this message has to be consumed by some other process and need to process that message. But let's see, we go step by step. I will save everything. I have already saved it, so it should redeploy the application. The application is getting deployed. Once it gets deployed, we can post this particular message. Once it be posted, the message will publish to the queue. Let me send it. I got the successful response. Let me check the queue. I have one message in my queue. Let me do one thing. Now what I can do, I can create one on new message. So whenever there is a new message coming, I need to process that message, and I post to some HTTP URL. So we will see that. So I will use the same connector configuration. I will use the same test queue. I have to read from that particular test queue. Consumer type will be queue consumer, and inbound content type will be application slash JSON. So this is one of the good example. The next thing I always log the message. I can say payload. Now I will use one HTTP requester. Okay. Also, I want to do one more thing. I want to create one HTTP listen, one more HTTP listener. I will use the same configuration, but I will say a file. I want to like move to some file. Whatever messages come to this HTTP listener will go to some file location. So I can use a file, a write to some file location. Before that, I will set variable and just process some file name. I want to give some file name. So I can say v file, and I can say fx function. Now this is date as string curly bracket format. I can define the format. I want to read YYYY DD R minute seconds. So this will be my file name. So I want to write to some file location. Let me create some good file location. So I can say if there's any exist file location, I can make use of this. I can make use of this file location. Let me remove this or everything. Yes. So I don't want to create it new. So I can say fx. Under fx, I can say control v double slash. I always try to give a double slash. Then the plus plus, always give a space. Vars dot v file. Okay. So request will come on this, and this will going to write to the some file location. So let me do the HTTP configuration, requester configuration, and also let me do one thing. I go to advanced, I go to post, go to requester of second flow. Now in this, what I will do, I can say like either you can do the connector configuration, but for now I will give a full URL HTTP local host 8081/file. Okay. So what is happening now? What will happen? I will tell you. I will post the message. The message will get published to this particular queue. Then I have one on message queue. It will read the message from that queue. Then it will do the HTTP request to this particular listener. Right? This listener will write the file. Okay, but why it's an error? Let me see that. Okay, I have done some mistake. You never give a path here. You can give a complete URL, or either you can do the configuration. But in case I will give a complete URL, let me save it. Once I will save it, so let's wait while our application is getting deployed. Till that, I will purge out the queue. I don't want any message in my queue for now. Let's wait while application is deploying for some 30-40 seconds. Still, we haven't seen that guaranteed delivery and persistent option. So first, let me like walk through some happy scenarios and like let me create some context before we move into actual persistent delivery. So my message has been published. Let me go to file location. So I have received that file here, right? So let me open with Notepad. So I got the successful file here, okay, which is good. So let me explain flow once again before I move into deep. I'm posting the message on this HTTP listener. This HTTP listener will publish the message to this test queue. Okay. As soon as this message is published to test queue, I have one listener on new message. As soon as the message come to test listener, this particular on new message will pick that message and log the message. Okay. If you see, it will log the message. It's logged it. Then once it logged the message, then it will call the HTTP requester, and this HTTP requester is calling this flow HTTP localhost, and it set the file name and write to that particular file location. Now want to do something. I want to show you negative flow now. Now instead of localhost 8081, I'm giving 8082. So there is a no 8082 listener, right? Let's check what happens now. So currently my file is like, it's this file endpoint is on 808 listener, but now I have done the requester configuration changes to listen on port 808. So to send the request on port 8082, but there is no listener available on port 8082. Application deployed. Send the request. Let's see what happens. Here it's fine, 200 we will get it, but let's see what error we got it. HTTP localhost failed connection, refuse, no further. But in that case, what is happening? Where is my message? How can I retrieve my message? I got the error out, right? How can I have logged it? That is fine. Like how many messages you will log, and and you will process it manually. So it may take a lot of time. Then how I can retrieve my message? How can I ensure that there is no zero loss? There is a guaranteed delivery. How can I do that? How can I ensure that? Okay, what I have to do? There's an option provided by JMS, that is a persistent delivery. So go to, when you're publishing the message, make sure that message is a persistent. Okay. So how can you do that? So basically there's an option, you can go below. You can see a persistent, delivery to true, and you can define up to what time this message has to be leave, so 5 hours, 10 hours, 1 day, 2 day. So always define that time to leave. Otherwise the message will be remain in that particular queue only, so always define some time limit for each and every message. So I can say something like 1 day, maybe less than that. Okay, 1 day. So I want my message to be persist for the 1 day. So these are the configuration you need to do when you are publishing the message. Make sure when you are publishing the message, it should be persistent. Okay. So that's the configuration you need to do. Make persistent delivery to true, and time to leave. Always define time to leave. Otherwise, it will take some default time to leave. Now, when you are consuming message, so okay, in that case also it needs to be persistent. Click on this. So now I can make the persistent delivery true. Where it is? So persistent delivery true. Again make 1 day only. Keep the same. Okay. 1 day. So always make sure while publishing persistent delivery is true, and while consuming also the persistent delivery is the true. Let me save this configuration and let's see what happens. Is there any message in my queue? Let me refresh. No message in my queue. So I'm waiting for my application to get deployed. Let's wait while application is deploying. I'm waiting. Okay. So let me post the message. Still my HTTP requester have a wrong connection string. It's pointing to 8082 instead of 8081. In that case, what will happen? I will show you. Send it. Message has been posted. Here I got the error. Let me check what happens in the queue. In queue, it will create one dead letter queue and save the message in dead letter queue so we don't lose the message. It automatically create one dead letter queue with name ActiveMQ.dlq. Okay, it has created this dead letter queue just now, and if you see, it's a persistent. Yes, it's a persistent. You can see, like, persistent. It's a persistent, like, time to leave, everything will be here, and you can see your message here. Let me post other message. Let me post two three messages, second, third, fourth, fifth, like that. Now there will be more and more messages. Let me go to queue. You can see all the 5 messages has been filled is in the dead letter queue, right? So that is how you can make sure, like, there's a no message loss. You have like failure message somewhere in your like environment. So we can make use of this persistent delivery provided by a JMS connector. It automatically create one dead letter queue and moved all the messages there. How we can process this message? So generally, if you know everything is fine, like connection is up and running, so in that case, what you can do, I can create one more flow, which is HTTP listener. Okay. So in this HTTP listener, I can simply say, uh, I can say reprocess. Then I can say consume. Just I'm showing there can be other method also. I'm just showing like how we can reprocess it. No. So generally, I want to make sure like there's a no message loss. So it consume. I will use the same connection string, and you can consume from this ActiveMQ dead letter queue. I click here. I can copy from here. So consumer type is queue consumer. Okay, always define application. Okay, now I can call this particular requester again. And I can use this method as a post. #8081, and it is file, I think. Yes, it's a file. Okay, save everything. Let's try what happens. No. Next application to redeploy, and what I will do, I will, instead of get, I will instead of post, I will say get, and JMS I will say reprocess. Okay, so I'm just reprocessing all the message. Let me check what happens. You can ignore this. Okay, the application started. Let me reprocess. Okay, my spelling is wrong. It's a local host, not here. in other thing, in this requester. See, I can make code here, here and there, but just it's a demo. I will change save all. Let's wait while application is deploying. Okay, it's deployed. Let me send it. Okay, so let me check. It has processed the message. Refresh. So currently it is giving one message only. If you keep on posting, let put second. There is no message in that case, so you can see everything here. 1 2 3 4 5. So let me check if there is anything in dead letter queue. So nothing, all message has been consumed basically. So there is all message has been consumed basically. Okay, so now what I can do, in case if I change this port again, and even you can, like, what you can do is, like, instead of listener, you can, like, you can put the for each loop here, and you can, like, or like some loop, and you can keep on reading the message till it's available, and then you can complete this flow. So that is also, you can do that. Okay, just I want to show you, that's why I use this. So now let me save everything. I think, like, now you got the concept, like how you can, make sure, like, there's a no message loss, zero message loss. The application is deployed. Now if I try post, it should not fail now. So you can see there should be more file coming. See, it's coming 1 2 3 4 6 7, like that. It will keep coming. So now 8 file, send me more. You can see more file is generating, right? So now like how to enable a persistent or guaranteed delivery for your mule flow. So basically what I have done, I create one listener, publish that message to particular listener, to the queue, and then I have other listener, I can bring this flow here. I have other listener which listen to this particular queue where the message has been published. Once the message received, it logged it, then it do the HTTP requester to this particular listener. This listener will move the file, write the file back to the file location. In case, like, anything goes wrong here, or anything goes wrong anywhere in this particular flow, what happens, the message will move to the dead letter queue. It create one dead letter queue, and it will move to that dead letter queue basically. Okay, so in case of everything goes fine, it will not create any dead letter queue, and you will not find a single message in DL queue. Everything will be processed successfully. So generally, I have created one small flow HTTP listener. Like, if you know, like, everything is good, up and running, like, if you want to reprocess the message, just you can, click on this listener. You can, like, use the listener URL to process the message from dead letter queue. There are various other ways. This is just an example. Okay, so you can create, like, consumer, like, listener to dead letter queue, and you can start processing the message. But yeah, so there are various other ways. Apart from that, there is a one thing like until successful. So I have also heard like a lot of people think about like can we use until successful as for the guaranteed delivery. Up to some extent you can use it, but you know that there is some limitation with until successful is that like once the retry is exhausted, no, so your message will be lost. But in case of this particular scenario, the message gets saved somewhere, in your dead letter queue, and you can, basically you can get your message from dead letter queue, right? So there is a no chances of message loss in this case, right? So I hope you like this video. If you like this video, please click on subscribe and the like button. Thanks for watching.